Well, joining us first, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. Welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me on, Shannon.
Okay, you've seen the headlines. They are in papers across the country, across the world, talking about the markets tanking, about all of the trouble that has been sparked by these tariff wars. So the president has taken a victory lap when the markets are good. He has taken credit for that. But they've taken a brutal beating this week. The Wall Street Journal says this: trade wars are easy to start, but they can be hard to stop. Once the retaliation gets rolling, Mr. Trump started this war, and he owns whatever happens next to prices, jobs, and economic growth. Do you agree he owns what's happening now, Senator?
No, what we have wrong here, Shannon, is this isn't a trade war. This is balancing our economy with countries that have taken advantage of us. There's countries for decades that have got rich over the backs of the workers here in America. What's happened is we've lost manufacturing jobs where, because of our unfair trade deals that have left America, went to other countries, building their products and turning it back around and selling it to our economy. The countries need access to our economy because we're the largest and the greatest economy in the world. The problem is it's costing us manufacturing jobs. It is time for someone to stand up. And I applaud President Trump for having a backbone and being the first president to ever stand up and say, hold on a second. It's not about today's economy. It's about the future of America's economy going down the road. We know the trade deficits have spread. They've only got worse year after year after year. And at some point, someone had to do something about it. And President Trump is finally doing that.
And the reality is it has rattled the markets. It is affecting people's 401ks. Millions of Americans have those. It's not just the economic issue, though. One of your GOP colleagues is warning about the potential political impact. Here's Rand Paul.
Tariffs have also led to political decimation. When McKinley most famously put tariffs on in 1890, they lost 50% of their seats in the next election. When Hans-Smuley put on their tariff in the early 1930s, we lost the House and the Senate for 60 years. So they're not only bad economically, they're bad politically.
Do you worry about that short term, some of these special elections and things going on now, but more broadly long term, midterms 2026, which generally are not good for the president in power?
Well, here's what you have. You have a president in the White House as a business person, not a career politician. I would trust President Trump in his handling of the economy way before I would trust Senator Paul on this. The truth is, we have to do something about it now. We know, Shannon, it's cost us jobs year after year after year, and these countries have taken advantage of us. What the president is saying here is he's not wanting to start a trade war. He's simply wanting to even the playing field. Reciprocal tariffs isn't just about the tariffs, but it's also access to our economy. I say this all the time, but Japan charges us 0% tariffs on selling U.S. auto vehicles in Japan, but we can't sell them because the access to the economy is closed. So it's not just tariffs, it's also the rules that prevent us from being able to do business in their country like we allow them to do business in our country. And President Trump has been talking about this since literally the 80s, way before he was even considering running for president. And so he understands what's going on. And when are we going to fix it? If we're not going to fix it now, Shannon, when are we going to have the backbone in this country to fix it? And now is the time to do it. And I trust President Trump and his leadership in doing so.
So you've been a consistent critic of China, as has President Trump, and yet we know that there is a fallout from what is going on with the tariffs. The Wall Street Journal reports that they're actually benefiting Xi Jinping. Here's what they write. Mr. Trump has taken an axe to the economic cords that were binding the rest of the world into an economic and strategic bloc to rival Beijing, and at precisely the moment many countries were finally starting to reevaluate their economic relationships with China. China's already announced some retaliation, limits on their export of rare earth minerals that we don't have in abundance. We use them in defense. We use them in MRI machines. What is the off-ramp now with something like China, where we are a major trading partner and we need each other's goods?
Well, we actually do have rare earth minerals here in the United States. The problem is because of the environmental movement that we have, we can't mine them. As far as access to the economy, China has to have access to our economy. Over 40% of the goods that are manufactured in China are sold here inside the United States. We have a huge trade deficit. We don't have to have access to China's economy to keep our economy moving. The reason why the Belt and Road Initiative exists is because just a few years ago, 75% of the manufacturing goods in China was sold inside the United States. What China is trying to do is diversify themselves by forcing other countries with the Belt and Road Initiative to do business with them by getting them in debt and forcing them to trade with them. The Belt and Road Initiative is a very big problem we have around the world, and you see countries that are pushing back because of the pressure that China is putting on them once they get them in debt. So you have two different things colliding here. Once again, what we're trying to do, and what the Republicans are trying to do, working with President Trump, is balance the unfair trade indifference that is going on in the countries that are taking advantage of us. And this, as I said before, Shannon, this is the perfect opportunity to do it because we have a business person that understands the market like we've never had before in the White House, and that's President Trump.
Well, he seems to have a high level of tolerance for the risk, for the pain. We'll see how long this takes as this plays out. In the meantime, you all passed a budget early Saturday morning, the framework for budget out of the Senate. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget says it would add nearly $6 trillion to primary deficits and adds this. Such a bill would be historically unprecedented in its fiscal irresponsibility, adding several times more debt than any reconciliation package or other recent piece of legislation. Now, a long list of Democrats, including our next guest, Senator Chris Coons, say you are doing this to give billionaires tax cuts at the cost of cutting things like Medicaid and Social Security. Are there cuts to those programs in this Senate framework?
No one in Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security is losing any of their benefits that are due them. What we're trying to do is cut the waste and fraud out of any of those programs. President Trump has been rock solid on saying we're not cutting benefits. It's just talking points. And as far as the Democrats saying we're trying to give tax cuts to the billionaires and millionaires, we're extending the current policy that the American people are working underneath right now. So if we're just extending it, we're not changing it. We have two options here, Shannon. Either it expires at the end of this year, and if it does, then every American, regardless of your working class, regardless of your status, will receive a $4 trillion tax increase across the United States. So everybody will burden that, will carry that cross. If we extend it, then the current tax policy stays in place. And what we are trying to do in the Senate, working with the White House and working with our friends in the House, is saying we don't want the tax policy to expire. We want to extend it and make it permanent. So businesses that are investing in us, families that are planning their taxes can understand that they don't have to worry about if it's going to expire in 1 year, 2 years, 1 month, or 8 years. It's going to be permanent for long term. So how is it that I would ask my Democrats, are we giving billionaires and millionaires tax breaks when we're extending the current tax policy that they worked underneath the last 4 years with the disastrous economy that Biden had us in?
Okay, we got to go, but I really quickly want to ask you about this. The House Budget Chair on the other side of the Hill, Jody Arrington, Republican, obviously, said the Senate framework is unserious and disappointing. Quickly, how do you guys get on the same page?
Well, President Trump, the White House, and the House and the Senate, we're working every day together. We're very close. We're wanting to deliver this one big, beautiful, glamorous bill that President Trump has been talking about for the American people, so we can put the DOGE cuts in there, we can get fiscal responsibility under control, and we can look towards to balance our budget. And so Jody is a friend. We will work together, and we will work the differences out. The good thing is it's a thoughtful conversation that both chambers, just like our founding fathers wanted it to, have a different opinion. Eventually we'll come together underneath the leadership of President Trump and deliver the promises that we made to the American people. Is the reason why we're in power, because of their trust in our leadership.
All right, we'll see how those differences get worked out across the Hill. Senator, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.